Kalahari is a huge area, one of the most remote areas that you can visit potentially in the world. And where we are right here, it's formed up of a lot of bushveld, rolling bushveld, and then a couple of very significant and quite famous valleys within the bushveld. So as far as deserts go, the Kalahari receives a lot of rainfall, in fact. We have a summer season here where it gets a lot of rain, which means that there's a lot of bush and a lot of grassland that can develop, and it means that there's a lot of animals here as well, a good density of wildlife. So during the rainy seasons, this place becomes, you wouldn't believe it becomes completely green, full of grass. It can be a very difficult environment to travel in at that time because of the mud and the water and the rain, but it is very beautiful. And then during the course of the year, it dries out to like it looks now, and then naturally everything becomes a lot more focused on water holes and water points. So we're in Deception Valley here, and this is probably the most famous of the valleys in the Kalahari. Some of the other well-known ones are Passage, Sunday Pan, Piper's Pan, Letiahau Valley. Deception is one of the most famous, most likely because of an old book that was written by two researchers that lived here, spent some time here in the 70s. The book was called Cry of the Kalahari. And basically at that time, when they came here, there were no roads, there was no access, there was no national park. It was just pure wilderness. Somehow they managed to, with a very old Land Rover, drive across hundreds of kilometers of really tough bush. And they found their way to Deception Valley, which had been known about before. It was seen on satellite images and things, but it wasn't very well explored. And they came out here, and they ended up living here on the top of Deception and spent 5 years living out here, the only people here for miles and miles around. It's actually incredible that they survived, to be honest. And so this is probably what makes Deception one of the most well-known valleys. It's also one of the biggest and most beautiful. It is a fossilized riverbed. So this has been proven, by fossil records that come out of the soil that include aquatic snails and fish and things. And all of this area here, if you turn back the geological clock, all of this area would have been part of an ancient lake that we now call the Great Lake Makgadikgadi or Great Lake Kalahari. And the lake eventually, through seismic activity, the lake ended up drying up, and a couple of rivers flowed through. A couple of valleys would have caught the last bit of water, lowest points in the area. And so it's quite an amazing thing to be here now and to stand on the top of the Deception Valley, looking at the whole valley, and you can very clearly picture and see in your mind that there used to be a big river here, that this used to be a big river flowing through, whereas now it definitely doesn't look that way. So yeah, I suppose those are some of the things that would make Deception quite a famous place, quite a well-known place to travel to.
Originally I'm from Bermuda, but I now live in Gloucestershire in the United Kingdom, I live not far from Cheltenham, which is obviously where the famous Cheltenham racetrack is and all of the horse racing. And it's a good area for me to be in because I have been riding horses since I was 6 years old, so they're a big part of my life. And so when I'm not working as a patent paralegal, I'm usually found with my horse. I got into wildlife photography after I started working with a friend of mine. I started eventing, taking photographs of the competitors in cross country and show jumping, and I had some photographs published in Horse and Hound, which I was proud of. And then I wanted something a little bit more challenging, and so I started with taking birds in my garden, and then after that I started seeing what other animals in the UK that I could take, and then I went up to Norway to photograph the humpback whales and the orcas, and it went from there really. My first journey was last year, and I'd waited 29 years to get here. I started in Zambia. I went over the border to Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe and visited an elephant sanctuary there, which I really enjoyed. And then I came across the border again to Botswana and went to pangolin photo safaris, and so I spent some time on the Chobe. And then I met up with the group to work our way down through the Okavango Delta, which was fantastic. I love all animals, absolutely all of them, but I would have to say, if push came to shove, there are two sitting in tie position at the top. Elephants are definitely at the top, and wild dogs. I love wild dogs as well.
I've been guiding for about 18 years and into the true wilderness pristine areas. My favorite place out in the wilderness here is Central Kalahari Game Reserve, where you get to see some desert adapted animals like gemsbok, springbok, cheetahs, brown hyena. But my favorite animal within this amazing vast area is called a honey badger. These are fearless creatures that are unintimidated by their enemies. We're talking of leopards, we're talking of lions, especially sub-adults, we're talking of hyena. They like to hold their ground with the sharp teeth and the behavior of standing their ground, and if they get a space and hold on any body part of that animal, they'll hold it for a long time. And by doing that, they show the strength and confidence to their enemies. What I like about wildlife photography is more into the avian photography. The birds are nice when they are in a tree, but when they move, it gives you more kind of excitement of next time if I miss this, I want to get this. And I just grew the love of photography more into avian or bird life because they are more kind of interesting or giving us more action, flying, and they are unstable. They're not staying in one place for longer time. So that keeps me more into photography or taking pictures of avian.
Wir sind schon ein paar Mal in Afrika zusammen und Botswana speziell. Es gefällt uns immer wieder und auch jetzt sind wir in der Kalahari und geniessen den Spätwinter, Anfangsfrühling. Jetzt ist es schön warm, am Morgen und zur Nacht ist es sehr schön kalt. Aber bis jetzt gefällt es. Ein wunderbares Licht mit dem Gras. Meine Lieblingstiere sind eigentlich die Elefanten, aber ich habe ganz viele Lieblingstiere. Die Raubkatze, allen voran der Leopard, Gepard und Karakal und so weiter. Aber auch Wild Dogs, Kalmen Und ganz viele Vögel habe ich kennengelernt. Vor allem hier in Botswana. Die mir auch sehr gefallen. Der Crimson-Breasted Shrike oder der Lilac-Breasted Roller. Also ganz tolle, herzige, schöne Vögel.
I'm from the United States. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. I lived in Bethesda, Maryland, right outside Washington, D.C. for 23 years. Then moved to Colorado, where I've been for the last 47 years. I started wildlife photography on my first African trip to Kenya and Tanzania. I've been to Botswana twice, and I've been to Ecuador once for hummingbird photography. My favorite African animal, after a lot of deliberation, is probably the cheetah. And a close second would be elephants, but it's so hard to choose a favorite out here. There are so many animals.
I grew up in Edinburgh in Scotland. I moved to England in around 2004. I've spent most of that time living in London, and then last year I moved to Folkestone on the southeast coast. I think I've always loved wildlife and nature, but I kind of started to try and get more seriously into the photography probably around 2016, so about 7 years ago now. I have been to Southern Africa, this is my 12th time. My third time in Botswana, which is one of my favourite places. I've also been to South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Zambia and Zimbabwe. My favourite African animal is the leopard, partly because I think they're beautiful looking animals. They're very elegant, very powerful. Also because it took me, I think, until my 6th safari to actually get a decent sighting of a leopard. I kept getting ones in dark or, hidden behind trees. So it was extra special to me when I did finally get a nice sighting of a leopard.
Fotografieren tue ich eigentlich gefühlt das Leben lang schon, habe aber mit der Wildtierfotografie erst angefangen, als ich zuerst mal in Afrika war, und zwar in Südafrika. Und seither hat uns der Virus Afrika gepackt und in dem Sinne natürlich auch die Wildtierfotografie. Und ich bin, glaube bis heute seit 6 oder 7 Mal in Afrika gewesen, also in Südafrika, Namibia. Und jetzt das 2. Mal in Botswana. Wir werden auch noch nach Zimbabwe gehen, nach Manapolis. Und ja, wir sind einfach extrem fasziniert, meine Frau und ich, von Afrika und von Wildtier, Landschaft etc. Und das Virus wird auch sicher noch länger andauern. Mein Lieblingstier in Afrika ist eigentlich allgemein Grosskatzen und im Speziellen sicher Leoparden. Das fasziniert mich immer wieder, weil auf der einen Seite sieht man sie selten, es ist schwierig sie zu finden, und wenn man sie dann sieht, bin ich immer wieder von neu fasziniert, wie sich die Tiere bewegen, und immer wieder schön, wenn ich einen Leopard treffe und natürlich dann entsprechend fotografieren kann.
I'm from a little dusty town in northern Botswana called Maun, and I'm a safari guide. I'm a photographer and videographer, and this is my office. So wildlife photography for me has been a thing that I've known from a very young age. My dad was a photographer as well, and he's also a guide. And I think that naturally when you're in a beautiful environment like this, you can't not want to document it or to pick up a camera and try to show what it's about. So photography has been a passion for me from when I was a young boy, but it has only been over the last few years that I've turned it into more of a profession, and I think I'm very fortunate to earn a living from something that I'm very passionate about. My favorite animal is definitely a caracal. Unfortunately, I don't have any good photos of a caracal, so for the purpose of this, I'm going to say that my favorite animal is most likely a leopard. I just feel that they are so incredible. Of course, they're beautiful, but they have a lot of character, a lot of personality, and they're just fantastic to watch and to photograph. Okay, so we haven't seen much this morning, so the best thing to do is to play a little game. This is a little game played generally by little boys in South Africa, where we take little bits of antelope poo like this and plop it in the mouth, and then you spit it to see how far it can go. You draw a line, and you have a competition. So now we're going to have a king of the Kalahari competition. We have Botswana, represented by Robson. We have United States of America, represented by Paul. And we have Switzerland, represented by Roland. All right, gentlemen, here's the line.
Select your drop.
Who's going to go first? Make America great again, Paul. Hey!
Oh, bad one.
Okay, we have the first mark. Here it is. Here it is.
Is the competition on?
Okay, who's going next?
I'll do it.
Switzerland! He's done this before, huh?
The technique was great.
Yeah. I think that was a foul throw, that one.
Botswana.
Robson!
Come on, Botswana! Let's go, Botswana! Oh! Okay, now the Botswana is going.
We've been spitting the antelope dung and representing Botswana, and we are the best team of spitting, and very grateful of this. Oh wow, in the Kalahari. Yay! Thank you for supporting me. even the sponsorship from Switzerland.
Thanks, Mom.
And my dad for all the trekking. I appreciate it.